So here is my review of the cerwin Vega XLS-215. When I bought these things about a year ago, I called cerwin Vega to find out some more information on what kind of power these things would need. Having had a pair of cerwin Vegas, commercial ones, two-way, with the 215s, I believe they were 400 watts per channel, but required a 700 watts per channel into them with a peak of 1400. So I assume that's the way all speakers work. If you've got an RMS of 500, you should have 1000 watts input with a peak of 1500. Whatever the RMS is, you double it for your input power and triple it for your peak power. cerwin Vega claims these are 500 watts RMS peak. Not really much more info than that. I called cerwin Vega and spoke to the so-called expert over there, who didn't seem to know any more than what was written on the piece of paper. He couldn't tell me what the recommended power. He said 150 watts. 150 watts is not enough to power these things. Sure, they'll power them, but not the way they should be powered. I had a pair of JBL CF-150s, I believe they were called. They were rated at 325 watts RMS. I was powering them with an old H&H V800. I believe it was 200 watts per channel. Mind you, it was a pretty good app, but still, today, probably still a good app. If I could get my hands on one, I would buy one. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't get anywhere calling cerwin Vega. So, anyway, I had bought, actually I already had this amp. I had a Crown 2500 XLI, which pushes 500 watts per channel. And yeah, it runs them. They pound pretty good. But I knew that these woofers had way more capabilities. Just as they start to pound, this thing's clipping. The sound starts getting distorted. I wasn't happy with it at all. I bought an equalizer so I could somewhat get more bass out of them, because I didn't find the bass all that great. My old GBLs used to kick way harder than these things. With a single 15, my neighbors all complained. Nobody's complaining about these. I don't think my neighbors care anyway. But yeah, I don't find them. I don't feel the music. With my old ones, I thought my heart was going to stop the way the bass was kicking. I haven't felt that with these up until I got this new amp. It's a sinbosen k4-1000. It pushes 1000 watts per channel, they claim. It's a 4-channel amp, so I bridged it. I'm getting 1400 watts per channel, and these things are just starting to kick now. With the Crown, I could go to a maximum of about 70, and at 65 she's starting to clip. I have to turn my bass down. That's with full bass, you know. But that's, if you're gonna buy a pair of speakers like this, that's what you buy it for, is for the bass, and you want to feel that bass. So what good is it if you got to turn the bass down to turn it up? But this one here, I've yet to see this amp clip at all. But I've blown many fuses. She really kicks pretty good. I find just before the fuses kick out, this thing really kicks hard, just where I would want it to kick. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to try some bigger fuses. I wish there was a safe way to do it, but I guess trial and error. Hopefully I don't blow these woofers up. People are claiming they're blowing the tweeters in these. I know with my previous JBLs, don't touch your treble. Leave your treble low. No more than half, less if you can. You don't need a lot of treble, especially when you get into high volumes. With my JBLs, anytime I turned it up, I've seen smoke come out of them. You know, the ear-piercing treble, just insane. These, not so much. But again, why do you need... You don't need ear-piercing treble. We bought these for bass, not treble. So just leave your treble low and you shouldn't have any issues. But these things need a lot of power. I've got my Onkyo here, pushes out 125 watts per channel. And yeah, it plays them. I can turn it up pretty loud. It's pretty clear. They sound pretty good. But there's no crazy bass coming out of them. That's for sure. You know, you're going to spend... well, these here, what are they? $1,700 each? They better kick. You know? And if at $1,700, why would you think that 150 watts is enough? You got two big ass woofers, and that's what Vega claims. Yeah, 150 watts is enough. That thing there, crown pushing 500 watts per channel, does not make these things kick. This amp here, this new one, 1400 watts per channel. These things kick so hard now. And I can turn it up. Here we go, full bass. That's for sure. And it's crystal clear. That crown amp, yeah, I like it. I like it better than this other amp here. And the only reason being it's quieter. This thing, the freaking fan is so annoyingly loud. So when you turn this thing on, that's the only thing that's bad about it, is the fan noise. I'm thinking about bringing it in and getting fans out of it, putting some different fans. I've got this guy here that turns on when needed. It's very quiet. I've never heard this thing. It's running right now. You can't hear it. I keep that on top of my Onkyo here. Keeps it pretty cool. It just comes on automatically when it needs to. But this thing here, listen to this. It's crazy. But she puts out the power. And look at the size of it. It's tiny. Weighs a bit. Probably weighs as much as this crown. But it's half the size. I've got a crazy buzz going on here. I gotta check my wires. But if you've got a pair or thinking about buying a pair of these XLS-215s, I'm not all that impressed with them. Buy yourself a pair of their commercial two-way with the twin 15s. You'll be fine with those at half the price. Just get yourself a big powerful amp. The XLI 2500 was fine for that, because those speakers their commercial ones are 4 ohms. So that thing at 4 ohms pushes out, I believe, 750 watts per channel. This other sinbosen here pushes out, I think, bridged. What does it say here? Nisha, be quiet. So what do we got here? So the k4-1000 at 4 ohms is 1400 watts per channel. If you bridge it, what is that? Bridged 4 ohms, 3,500 watts per channel. So you got lots of power there. This one here at 8 ohms bridged is 2,800 watts per channel. Is that what I'm putting into it? Oh. So I thought I was pushing 1,400 watts. Sorry. No, it's 2,800 watts. Find that hard to believe, but whatever. She handles it. I can turn this thing up. I've had it up to, if I turn the bass down, I can get in the 80s before I'll blow a fuse. But I can get up to 76 right now with full bass before I pop a fuse. It's not a bad little amp, you know. I bought this on AliExpress for about 750 bucks or so Canadian. That's not even turned up all the way. Sorry, not my choice of music. YouTube keeps shutting me down because of the music. This is my third time making this video. Like, it's loud, there's a lot of bass, but those things are barely moving. You know, you can't get that with the little crown. 500 watts per channel does not kick those speakers. And anyone that tells you they're 150 watt amp, I don't know. Yeah, some good ones. If you got an ad or something, they play better lows. The crown isn't great at pushing out lows, neither is this sinbosen. You want to get a good amp that pushes out the lows, you got to pay big bucks. Get yourself a Macintosh or something. But the sinbosen here plays pretty well. They recommend a higher amperage watt, or a higher watt amp if you're going to be pushing big subs. I know when I made the purchase on AliExpress, sinbosen contacted me immediately to discuss my purchase and whether this was a good amp for me, and they tried to talk me out of it and talk me into this other amp. But after watching some reviews on it, you need 30 amps. Well, that's not going to work here. And this one here, it likes the juice. You can see my power filter here. I'm at 118 right now. At idle, I'm at 120. So if I turn it up, I've seen it go to 112. That's the lowest I've seen. But it seems to play fine. So yeah, if you're gonna get yourself a pair of speakers like this, or if you have a pair and you're pushing 150, 200, 300 watts into them, you need more power. sorry to say, yeah, it might play fine. It sounds good. Um, I guess in most homes it's fine. My home is very solid. There is wood behind the drywalls. It absorbs the bass. Get out of here. That's enough. Sorry. Yeah, so I've was never happy with the amount of bass I was getting out of these, and it's because of the building here. If I bring these speakers downstairs, yeah, there's tons of bass. It's just different up here. You got hardwood floors. You got wood behind the walls. It absorbs the bass like crazy. But I can finally now feel it, and it took. Well, it says 2,800 watts. I think it was 14. That doesn't sound right. 1,400 watts or 2,800 watts per channel. So here we go. We're at 8 ohms bridged. The 1,000 is 2,800 watts per channel. Look at that. I don't know if those numbers are right, but it's definitely more than 500 watts per channel anyway. You don't really notice a difference up until you get into the higher volume. Like, I mean, I'm pushing these speakers hard, and that amp does not clip. That crown there was clipping, at 6. It'll clip. I turn it on right now, but it's a pain in the ass to disconnect the speakers and plug them in there. I gotta get some extra wires so I don't have to keep going in behind this thing. But yeah, sinbosen, check those out. They've got a lot of amps out there. They're a lab group and knockoff. If anybody has any suggestions on this, I don't know if you can hear the buzzing. I bought this thing here to get rid of that buzzing. That doesn't work. So I don't know, maybe the RCAs are no good. I gotta get some better shielded RCAs. That's my next step. Try that. Either that or this Onkyo, I think, is the culprit. If I plug my HDMI ARC into it, buzzing. Just horrible. No buzzing if I plug the what's that called? That little red light wire. Yeah, whatever. Don't care. I play everything off that guy up there. So that's fine. But yeah, get yourself some power, man. Where's my remote? I do believe I've blown a fuse again. Yep. Time to change the fuse. Anyway, have fun with that.